What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for Thursday. We have 3 games today, starting at 7:30. Let's go ahead and get into it. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out all the socials down below, and let's go ahead and get started. So, looking at the point guard picks, we have Luka Doncic at 10-6 if he is able to play. That'd definitely be something to keep an eye on. If not, you're looking to go down to Ja Morant here. He's 98. $100, but he continues to play well. We saw how fired up he was after that game 1 loss. Followed it up with a great performance, almost had a triple-double, and he got some time off in the fourth because they won by 28 points. So right now I'm looking at Ja Morant to pay up for at the position, especially if Curry's still going to be limited. Didn't really matter if you played him last game, even with that limit, because he put up 50 in just 23 minutes and put up 34 points. Jordan Poole continues to show out for the Warriors. I mean, that death lineup is super scary. They call it the PTSD lineup, which is also a funny name for that. But Poole, 81. He looks better than Brunson if Doncic is back. If Doncic is still out, then I'd probably lean Brunson over Poole. Although their price tags have come up a bit, Brunson and Dinwiddie's. 7K for Russell. He struggled so far. The first 2 games has just hit 5 shots total. Struggling from distance as well. He's a little bit risky because they do have a lot of players that can shoot the ball and a lot of players that will command some usage, with Cat, Edwards, Beasley off the bench. If Russell doesn't have it off shooting wise, I mean, they're just going to go to other guys to shoot the ball. Mike Conley left the game and then he didn't play much. He played awful. 22 minutes from him. Couldn't have had a worse game. I mean, pretty sad. Hopefully he bounces back. They're at home. Think he probably will. You can go down a little bit more to Pat Bev if you wanted to. He was also in some foul trouble, and that blowout didn't really play well for him, but still got 29 minutes here, and just had a bad shooting game, which is going to happen when Pat Bev is not a great shooter in general. He's going to have some decent shooting games every now and then. You're going to hope that he gets a better game in terms of peripherals and just getting you defensive stats. Further down here in 4K range, don't have much interest in any of these guys besides Monty Morris, just because he gives you upside. He's pretty safe in terms of like at least 20 fantasy points, upside into the 30s, depending on how he's playing. And that's kind of it at the point guard position. Over at shooting guard, your most expensive guy is Donovan Mitchell. I do want to try to get to him. We've seen Donovan Mitchell just always like to shoot a lot in the regular season, and in the playoffs he's taken it to another level. Taking 59 shots the first 2 games, as well as getting to the free throw line 16 times. Still making plays a bit with the assist, playing big minutes over 40. And the price tag hasn't really moved at all, so at home, they definitely want to get this win here. So I got to go with Mitchell. When you have Edwards, 200 less, he's better for tournaments, I'd say. Brunson is tough to trust right now without knowing the status of Luka Doncic. And the same thing can be said for Spencer Dinwiddie. 6K range, we have the Memphis guys, Bane and Brooks. Both are pretty affordable. Brooks struggled from the floor, but other guys stepped up. They only played Adams like 2 minutes last game, so we'll see what they decide to do if they decide to shake up the starting lineup again. But I like Barton at 58. Going to go ahead and put him in. Bad shooting game for him last time out, but he followed it up with 10 rebounds, so he kind of got you there in terms of fantasy. He's going to have to take 15 to 20 shots going forward, just because they are making a big emphasis to try to slow down Jokic. He's leaving some of these guys open. Barton is one of the only other shooters that they have on the team, consistency-wise, and can hit the 3. Other options would be Beasley at 44. We saw he's a streaky guy, but if he is knocking down his 3s, he's going to get the minutes and can get you over 30 fantasy points. So his price tag is definitely cheap enough to consider. Moving on to small forward. Top end, it's Edwards. I like Brooks at 61 to bounce back here. Further down, you can go Bogdanovich right at 6K. Maybe a little bit safer than a guy like Wiggins and Brooks, but maybe Brooks gives you a little bit more upside. 5K range, you have Gordon, who struggled so far this series. Finney-Smith, Bullock is going to be dependent on the Luka Doncic news. I don't mind going right here at 4,000 for Royce O'Neal. He's going to get you over 30 minutes, mainly just for defense purposes. And last game, he did show out a bit with his shooting. Not a great shooter in general, but he can hit the 3 at times if he's left wide open. 4,000, he's probably one of the better value picks at the position when you have guys like Porter, Kyle Anderson, who did start the second half, but he still only played 18 minutes. The Grizzlies are super deep with their bench guys, with Melton and Tyus Jones, and they can give some minutes to Zaire Williams, which you don't want to give too much to him, but they have so many guys still that, Brendan Clark, another name off the bench, that even if they don't play Adams much, they still have so many other guys to rotate from. Power forward, I like Draymond at 67. He's a little bit more expensive than Jaren Jackson, but Draymond has been fine this series. Didn't do much last game, but didn't need him to. Jaren Jackson has done well so far, 30-plus first 2 games here. He's still risky with the fouls, but don't mind his price tag at all. Then you can go down to Brendan Clark for a bit cheaper option here. He's going to get you over like 20 minutes, I'd say at least. Upside is there for like high 20s, depending on how he's playing. Big guy in terms of getting you rebounds, and can get you easy looks at the basket. And then under 5K, you also have Maxi Kleber, who had a great game off the bench out of nowhere. 8 threes from him last game. Don't know if you want to chase that, but dependent on the Luka news, I'd say. And then 3K range, Vanderbilt only played a handful of minutes. McDaniels didn't play very many minutes. They played 20, but didn't do much in those minutes. So there's still a little bit of risk with some of these guys. I would take McDaniels over Vanderbilt now that Vanderbilt barely played, just 9 minutes. But, these coaches are always shaking things up in the playoffs, just going with a hot hand. I would say Prince gives you upside as well at 33. Did play 17 minutes, and he's a guy that can at least shoot a little bit and can get you some plays defensively. So he's another name to potentially consider. I'm going with Draymond here, a guy that can do a little bit of everything. Pretty good price tag still at 67. Over at center, you can go all the way up to Jokic if you wanted to at 11-2. Fouled out last game. He got ejected last game in 28 minutes. Now, he hasn't had a crazy great game. They're not letting him get free from distance. So for 0 of 8, the assists have been down because they're just making it tough for him. Overall, he's still a good play at home. He probably thinks you're going to have to steal at least 1 game here, at least 2, just to make them feel a little bit better about themselves now that they're not going to get Murray back for the playoffs. Other option would be like going down to Brendan Clark, I'd say, at 47. He's cheap. He gives you upside. He's pretty safe in terms of point per minute production. And, they don't seem to, if Adams is kind of going to get played off the floor again, they probably don't have Adams too much on Draymond, just because Draymond is not just going to shoot the ball at all. He's going to be looking to make plays for his teammates. He only played 3 minutes, so don't know if they want to do that again. But if he gets off to a better start, he also struggled in Game 1, so it worked last game, not playing him much. They could do that again. Just keep an eye on the starting lineup. And that's about it for DraftKings. It leaves you with still 53 left for the last couple of spots. Looking to target this Memphis game a little bit. I like the Golden State game. Target both sides, and Dallas is kind of tough to pick right now with Luka up in the air, so got a couple of Utah players I don't mind. So that's it for DraftKings. Let's go ahead and touch on FanDuel. All right, over on FanDuel, point guard picks. Do you have Luka at 10K, then Ja Morant 99, so they're super closely priced, 100 more. Right now you have to go Ja Morant without knowing if Luka's going to play or not, but he can still make adjustments once we get that Luka news. Other options would be Donovan Mitchell at 9,000. You can play him at shooting guard. Jordan Poole at 72, you play him at 2 spots as well. Dinwiddie if there is no Luka, and then you can maybe go down to like Pat Bev at 57, go down to Monty Morris at 5,000. Over at shooting guard, I'm going to go ahead and put in Donovan Mitchell again. He's 9K, but he's just going to take so many shots for the team. They're at home. I think he's going to have another 30-plus game, and hopefully can contribute a little bit with the peripherals. Other options here, you got some cheap guys like Will Barton, 6K, Klay Thompson, 62. The 5K range is dominated by the Grizzlies, with Desmond Bane only 54 and Dylan Brooks only 51. Those are super cheap price tags. In that 4K range, it's Beasley and Reggie Bullock as 2 guys you can consider. Small forward, Edwards is priced up at 88. Big difference between the other guys here. Get down to Bogdanovich at 62, Will Barton at 6,000. But I'm going to take a shot on Brooks again. He's only 51. Such a cheap price tag for a guy that will play over 30 minutes in any sort of closer game. Kyle Anderson, if he's starting today at 39, he looks decent. But they still have so many guys, like I mentioned, that they can give minutes to. Power forward, Jokic, 11-4. Maybe he has a better game. I would say he has a much better chance of having a better game at home compared to playing in Golden State. A lot better chance of keeping the game closer. I like Draymond, 67. You can play him at 2 spots. Jaren Jackson is pretty affordable at 66. And then you have a couple of guys you can look to, like Clark is 5K, maybe go up to Gordon, or you can go down to Royce O'Neal as a value pick at 41, maybe take a shot on like Prince at 39. So I'll go back to O'Neal just to get to a cheaper option here. And then at center, I want to get to Jokic. If I can't, I'll go down a little bit to like Draymond or put in Jaren Jackson. I think they both look pretty appealing for their price tags. And it's tough to pick Adams right now with the uncertainty in his minutes. But that's about it for the video. Best of luck tonight, and I will see you all next time.